Namaste. My name is Saurabh Nanda. I'm a career consultant, and I've been doing this for the past 10 years now. And a lot of my students are studying abroad for various courses: business, liberal arts, psychology, journalism, and so many others. And most of the universities abroad, they ask you to write. They ask you to write your statement of purpose, SOP. Why do you want to come here? What will you achieve after doing this? What do you want to do later on in your life? Why this country? Why this university? And so many other questions, right? But we Indians, we are never really taught how to write in our schools, are we? Remember those essay questions or essay competitions that you had? And you were never really very confident about what you had written? Even though it was of bad quality, still you got a prize maybe? The only reason is because there is no competition. People in India don't know how to write. Whereas abroad, it's quite common. It's part of their curriculum. Maybe with the new education policy, it'll become common for a lot of Indians to write and be able to express themselves in a much better way. So that is why writing SOPs can be a big struggle, guys, and that is where I have helped out a lot of students. Now, when the question is how to write an SOP for a university abroad, it's a very wide question, obviously, and it applies to not only one kind of course. So let me just start by telling you that different courses will have different requirements for an SOP. A master's course will probably ask you to write an SOP for around 1500 to 2000 words as well. Whereas a business school SOP will be divided into 2 3 questions, each question not more than 300 400 words at the most. And in today's world, for the past 5 odd years, you will see more and more universities have started asking about video essays, and because they want to hear what you are saying, they want to see whether they can put a face to the SOP that they have received, and with that they're able to actually understand whether the person is faking it or not. Because, well, you can write something or you can get somebody else to write something for you, but they can catch it. They want to catch it, right? What do we write in an SOP? Break it down. Statement of purpose. Purpose. What do you want to do there? Why do you want to go there? So you have to first of all answer all these seemingly simple questions, but extremely hard to answer. First question: why do you want to do a master's or a bachelor's for that matter? Right? If it is bachelor's, well, probably this question doesn't matter a lot because after school, a lot of people are expected to go to college. But if it is master's, it's a very important question, whether it's an MBA or MS or any other kind of program. Why do you want to do it? What is the purpose? Why do you want to study more about this particular subject? It becomes even more difficult when the subject is different from what you have studied in your undergrad. If you are an engineer and now who wants to go and study psychology, because that's what I did, then the question becomes even tougher. So think, all right? One of the ways how you can answer this question is, this is your past, this is your future, all right? You are here in the middle, present right now. And from the past, you've reached the present. To reach the future now, there is some distance. To cover that distance, the degree that you're applying for, the program that you're applying for, that is the bridge. If that bridge is not created, then from your present, you will not reach the future that you're looking for. All right? So use that strategy. Why will this course help you reach the future? And to answer that, what is the future? What do you want to do later? Where do you see yourself? All right? Then, after answering these very seemingly harmless questions but extremely important questions, you need to understand things which you don't have to write or will not, these things will not help you in your CV. The moment you start telling them, oh, your university is great, they already know their university is great. Even if the university is not great, they won't, they consider themselves great. Okay, so don't talk about rankings. First of all, rankings are a complete no. Secondly, don't talk about the fact that maybe you'll get placed, you'll get amazing job opportunities, and so on and so forth. So then you're basically belittling the university. You're just telling them, you know what, I'm going to spend 2 years over there, then I'm going to get a job. I don't care about the rest. So the university starts feeling like a job portal or something, which they don't want to hear. Again, so don't mention about money, don't mention about jobs, don't mention about rankings, all right? So what should you mention about? Now, why was that university created? That university was created to provide good quality education, create an ecosystem for learning, and get the best of minds from the world together to think about new things in various disciplines. Right? That is what a university is created for. So tell them that your university has these professors. I love them. This professor is doing this research work. I want to do something similar to that. Your university has such a big alumni network. I will learn so much from them. There are so many relationships I will get. There are so many exclusive clubs that I will be part of. Your university offers all these extracurricular activities. Your university offers all these clubs and opportunities. Talk about those things. Another way of looking at an SOP, and this I ask a lot of my clients to do also. It's a very good exercise. It's called the exercise of visualization. Visualize yourself as a student already studying in that university. All right. Now, when you see yourself sitting in that classroom in that university, just imagine yourself doing that. All right. You can imagine yourself. Great. That is the first validation that you need. Secondly, now you need to make sure that the person who's reading your SOP also is able to see you sitting in that class. And that is what you need to do. So you need to tell them about how you will contribute to the class. What are you good at? What are the kind of questions that you ask? What is the kind of dynamic that you provide to a particular group? How can you shape things up? How can you make the conversation richer? All those things you mention in your SOP. All right. There's another process, guys, which I follow with a lot of my clients. It's called the editorial question. All right. What is the editorial question? And it actually comes from a lot of my lessons in critical reasoning. The editorial question is that, let's say you have to write a particular story. All right. You're a journalist and you have to write a particular story. And the editor says, you know what, write about this story. Let's take an example. Let's say you're a journalist in Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, all right? And your editor says, go and find out facts and write a story about the situation of coronavirus in Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. That is the editorial question. If you reach the editorial question, the answer becomes very easy. It might sound a little technical. In the case of SOP, what is the editorial question? The editorial question is this: why you, XYZ? Why XYZ is a good candidate for University of Pennsylvania? Answer that question and your SOP will be complete. All right. I hope this helps. But then again, SOPs are very subjective. They're very personalized, similar to CVs. Tell them what you're passionate about and how you make the world better, and you will be selected. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Namaste.